Chapter 6. The Frequency Beneath the City. The first thing Elias heard after the explosion was not ringing. It was music. Not music the way normal people understood it. Not melody, not rhythm, not something you could hum while walking through a grocery store pretending the world wasn't collapsing. This was deeper, a tone beneath all tones. A sound so low it felt like the bones of the earth were grinding their teeth. Elias opened his eyes. For one horrifying second, he thought he was blind. There was no light, no ceiling, no laboratory, no broken shelves, no fire, no scattered notebooks, no shattered glass from the resonance chamber he had spent 3 years building from stolen industrial parts, antique brass, copper wire, quartz plates, and scavenged military radio components. Only darkness. Then the darkness moved. It breathed. Elias tried to sit up, but pain tore through his ribs. He gasped and rolled onto his side, coughing dust from his lungs. His hands searched the ground beneath him. Stone, cold stone, wet stone. He was no longer in the basement beneath the abandoned Masonic lodge. He was somewhere below it, far below it. "Okay," he whispered, voice raw. "That's new." His own words came back to him from the dark, but wrong. The echo arrived late, then early, then late again. Okay, new, okay, new. As if time could not decide which direction to move, Elias forced himself to breathe slowly. Panic was expensive. Panic burned oxygen. Panic narrowed the mind, and right now, the mind was all he had left. He pressed one hand against his ribs, then reached for the leather satchel strapped across his chest. Still there. Thank God. Inside were the only things that mattered now: his field notebook, 3 tuning forks, a small vial of iron filings, a cracked piece of quartz, a brass compass, a lighter, and the black stone he had taken from the vault under the library. The stone was warm. That was impossible. Everything else around him was freezing. Elias pulled it from the satchel. The moment his fingers closed around it, a pulse passed through his body. Not electric, recognitional, like something ancient had noticed him. A thin blue light appeared inside the stone, glowing from some impossible depth. The glow spread across his palm, crawled over the lines of his skin, and revealed the chamber around him. Elias stopped breathing. He was standing inside a tunnel that had not been built by modern hands. The walls were cut from black limestone, polished smooth as glass in some places and carved deeply in others. Symbols covered everything: spirals, triangles, eyes, stars, serpents biting their tails, human figures with arms raised toward lines that crossed overhead like invisible roads. Ley lines, not drawn on a map, carved into the bones of the earth. "Jesus," Elias whispered. The tunnel stretched ahead of him, descending at a slow angle. Water trickled along shallow grooves in the floor, moving uphill. He stared at it. "Nope," he muttered. "I hate that." Then he heard footsteps. Not behind him. Ahead. Slow. Barefoot. Wet against stone. Elias shoved the black stone back into his satchel and grabbed one of the tuning forks. It was marked with a frequency he had calculated after 6 months of obsession, sleep deprivation, and reading books that no sane university would admit existed. 432 hertz was what people online argued about. 528 hertz was what spiritual influencers sold. But 963.7 hertz, that one opened doors. The footsteps stopped. Elias held the tuning fork like a knife. "Who's there?" His voice traveled down the tunnel and came back in pieces. "Who?" "There." "Who?" "There." Then another voice answered. "You brought the sun into the wound." Elias froze. The voice was old, not elderly, old in the way mountains were old, old in the way buried things were old. A figure stepped into the blue glow. At first, Elias thought it was a man, then he wasn't sure. The figure was tall and thin, wrapped in what looked like a coat made of dark feathers, though they did not move like feathers. They shifted like smoke. His face was mostly hidden beneath a hood, but Elias could see the mouth, and the mouth was smiling, not kindly, knowingly. Elias raised the tuning fork higher. I don't know what that means. Yes, the figure said. You do. The chamber vibrated. Elias felt the tuning fork tremble in his hand without being struck. You activated the crossing, the figure continued. You broke the seal above the false temple and entered the old road. The old road? The path beneath the path. The line beneath the line. Elias swallowed. The ley line! The figure's smile widened. They taught you the child's word. Elias did not like how calm this thing was. He did not like that it seemed to know him. He did not like that it had appeared exactly when the resonance chamber exploded and dumped him into a tunnel that should not exist. He especially did not like that part of him was not afraid. Part of him was thrilled. That was the dangerous part. That was the alchemist in him, the addict of hidden things. What are you? Elias asked. The figure tilted its head. A witness. To what? To every man who mistook the door for the treasure. Elias felt that one land hard. For years, people had mocked the old alchemists for chasing gold, fools in robes trying to turn lead into wealth. That was the common version, the dumbed-down version, the version taught by people who had never stayed awake until sunrise with trembling hands, realizing that metal was only a metaphor for the mind. Gold had never been the point. Transformation was the point. Energy was the point. If you could command energy, gold was a party trick. The witness stepped closer. You came seeking the engine behind matter. Elias said nothing. You found it. The tunnel groaned. Far above them, something collapsed. Dust rained from the ceiling. Elias looked up, heart pounding. The witness did not move. What happened up there? Elias asked. You rang a bell that had not been rung in centuries. And something answered. A deep boom rolled through the tunnel, not an explosion, a footstep. Something huge moved somewhere in the dark beneath the city. Elias backed away. The witness watched him. What answered? Elias asked. The witness's smile vanished. The debt. Another boom shook the tunnel. This time, the carved symbols in the wall lit up one by one, burning blue, then gold, then red. The lines connected overhead like circuitry. The air filled with static. Elias tasted copper. His compass spun wildly inside the satchel. The black stone grew hotter. Elias pulled it out again and nearly dropped it. The blue light inside had turned white. Something was moving within it. A shape, a spiral. No, an eye. The witness took one step back. For the first time, it looked afraid. You stole that from the library vault, it said. Elias clenched his jaw. Borrowed. No, that stone is not borrowed. It is chosen or it is stolen. There is no middle path. The booming grew closer. Elias looked down the tunnel. In the distant dark, a red glow pulsed. Once, twice, like a heartbeat. What is it? Elias demanded. The witness leaned close. The part of the world your age pretends does not exist. Then the tunnel behind Elias collapsed. Stone crashed down, sealing the path back. Elias threw himself forward as dust and broken rock exploded through the passage. He hit the floor hard, pain tearing through his shoulder. The tuning fork skidded from his hand and vanished into the water groove. No! He scrambled after it, but the water moved faster than water should. It carried the fork uphill into darkness. The red glow pulsed brighter. The witness looked toward it. You have very little time. Elias laughed once, bitter and breathless. That's funny, considering time is kind of my thing. The witness turned back to him. No, it said. Time was never your thing. Time was the curtain. Sound is the hand that pulls it aside. Elias hated that, mostly because it was true. He forced himself up and dug through the satchel. 2 tuning forks left, quartz, iron filings, lighter, notebook. He flipped the notebook open with shaking hands. Pages were torn. Ink had bled from water. Diagrams he had spent months perfecting were ruined. But one page remained intact. The alignment chart, earth current, mineral resonance, harmonic pressure, solar angle, magnetic deviation, the Pauline lines. Not Pauline, really. That had been a mistranslation from a half-burned Latin manuscript he found buried in the restricted collection. Polyline, pole line, pillar line, the vertical breadth between earth and sky. He had built the chamber to align with one, but he had not expected to fall into it. The red glow surged again. This time Elias saw what stood inside it. A shape too large for the tunnel, antlers of bone scraping the ceiling, arms too long, a head that bent sideways because the passage could not contain it. Its skin looked like burnt clay. Cracks of red light ran through its body like magma under a cooling crust. Its face was almost human, which made it worse. Much worse. Its eyes locked onto the stone in Elias's hand. The witness whispered, "Run." Elias did. He sprinted down the tunnel, every breath stabbing his ribs. The satchel slammed against his hip. Water splashed beneath his boots. Behind him, the thing moved slowly at first, then faster. Stones screamed as its antlers carved through the ceiling. Elias rounded a bend and nearly fell into an open shaft. He caught himself against the wall, pebbles tumbling into the darkness below. Across the gap was another tunnel, maybe 12 feet away, too far to jump. Behind him, the red glow grew brighter. The creature dragged itself closer. Elias looked around wildly. No bridge, no rope, no ladder. Only symbols carved into the walls and 3 vertical grooves filled with water moving upward. Sound is the hand. He grabbed the quartz and 1 tuning fork. The fork was marked 741 Hertz purification, dissolution, the breaking frequency. "Please work," he said. He struck the fork against the stone wall. The note rang out sharp and clean. The water in the grooves stopped. Elias struck it again and pressed the base of the vibrating fork against the quartz. The crystal flared. The sound deepened. The shaft in front of him shimmered. For a moment he saw 3 versions of the gap. One where the tunnel had collapsed. One where a stone bridge crossed safely. One where Elias had already jumped and missed. He focused on the bridge. "No," he whispered, "not imagination. Alignment." The creature roared behind him. Hot air blasted against his back. Elias poured the iron filings into his palm and threw them into the shimmering air. The filings froze in place, suspended over the shaft, each tiny fragment locking onto invisible magnetic lines. A pattern appeared, a bridge made of dust and frequency. Elias did not think. Thinking would kill him. He ran. His first step landed on nothing and held. His second step scattered sparks. His third step bent the air beneath him. Halfway across, the creature lunged. A clawed hand tore through the space behind him, missing his coat by inches. Elias leapt the last few feet and slammed into the other side of the tunnel. The bridge collapsed instantly. Iron filings rained into the abyss. The creature stopped at the edge of the shaft. Its red eyes burned into him. Then it spoke, not with a mouth, with every stone in the tunnel. "Thief of fire." Elias crawled backward. The black stone in his hand pulsed white. The witness appeared beside him, though Elias had not seen it cross. "You see?" the witness said. "Now it knows your name." "That's not my name." "It is now." The creature raised one massive hand and pressed it against the empty air above the shaft. The space cracked. Elias stared in disbelief. It was breaking the gap, not crossing it, breaking it. The witness grabbed Elias by the collar and hauled him to his feet with impossible strength. "Move!" They ran deeper. The tunnel narrowed, then opened into a vast underground chamber. Elias stopped dead. The chamber was enormous, a cathedral beneath the city. Pillars of black stone rose into darkness. Water flowed in circular canals around a central platform. Above the platform hung a sphere of golden light the size of a house, suspended in midair, humming softly. Around it, etched into the floor, were rings of symbols: alchemy, astrology, mathematics, music, all of it connected, all of it one language. Elias stepped forward, forgetting the pain, the creature, the danger. "My God," he whispered. The witness stood beside him. "No," it said. "Older." The golden sphere pulsed. Elias felt his heartbeat sync with it. For a moment he saw everything, the city above him, the rivers, the power lines, the buried bones, the old roads beneath the asphalt, the churches built on mounds, the courthouses built on crossings, the cell towers unknowingly amplifying ancient currents, millions of people walking through invisible geometry, angry, lonely, distracted, never knowing they lived inside a machine older than language. Then he saw himself, not one self, many. Elias as a child, hiding in the back of the library while his father searched bars for answers. Elias at 20, laughed out of a university office for asking the wrong questions. Elias at 39, breaking into archives, stealing knowledge from institutions that had stolen it first. Elias dead in the grass beneath a black sun. Elias crowned in gold. Elias burning. Elias becoming something no longer human. He stumbled backward. The vision snapped. The creature roared from the tunnel behind them. The witness pointed to the central platform. The engine is awake. You must choose. Choose what? To close the road or walk it? Elias looked at the golden sphere. What happens if I close it? You go back, bruised, changed, alive. The world continues sleeping. And if I walk it? The witness looked toward the tunnel. The red glow was approaching. Then you stop running from what you awakened. Elias laughed, but there was no humor in it. So that's the choice? Cowardice or death? No, said the witness. Ignorance or responsibility. That silenced him. The creature entered the chamber. It unfolded itself from the tunnel, rising taller now, no longer confined. Its antlers spread wide. Its burning skin lit the pillars red. Around its neck hung chains made of old keys, broken clocks, rusted coins, and human teeth. Elias knew then what it was. Not a demon, not exactly. It was consequence. Every door opened without reverence. Every secret taken without offering. Every modern mind ripping ancient things from the earth and calling it research. The debt. The creature lowered its head. The black stone lifted from Elias's palm and floated into the air. The golden sphere answered it. White light met gold. The chamber began to shake. The witness stepped away from Elias. This part, it said, no one can teach you. Elias stared at the sphere. For the first time in his life, he understood the cruelty of knowledge. It did not make you powerful. It made you accountable. He thought about gold. How stupid that dream seemed now. Money, recognition, proof. Revenge against every professor, librarian, pastor, skeptic, and bureaucrat who had told him the world was dead matter and meaningless accident. He had wanted to prove them wrong, but proving them wrong had opened a wound under the city. Now something was crawling out. Elias reached into his satchel and pulled out the final tuning fork. 963.7. Huts, the door frequency. The creature charged. Elias stepped onto the platform. The golden sphere dropped lower, bathing him in heatless light. He struck the tuning fork against the black stone. The sound was impossible. It was not loud. It was total. Every pillar sang. Every canal rippled. Every symbol ignited. Elias felt his blood vibrate, his teeth ache, his thoughts stretch into long golden threads. The creature froze inches from the platform. Its claws reached for him. Elias raised the vibrating fork. I didn't come for gold, he said. The creature's eyes narrowed. Elias pressed the fork against his own chest. I came for the fire. The chamber exploded into light, and this time Elias did not fall through time. Time fell through him.